Before I get into the video, I just want to say that this video will be edited to include as little about eating disorders as possible, although it is key to the discussion and how this hashtag came to be as it involves Eugenia. If that is a sensitive topic for you, then this video unfortunately might not be for you. There will be chapters in the description below where you can skip to certain parts that you may find more friendly of a viewing experience regarding the subject, as it's not all just about eating disorders. I spoke in my last video, the podcast with Repzilla, that I haven't made a video about Eugenia before and it's not something I'd want to cover, and this video is no exception. The point of this is to talk about a video that was made in the aftermath of that, not to focus on Eugenia, but in fact focus on the people called out in the video that was made and how they responded, which will of course mention Eugenia as it's impossible not to. I also made a poll asking if people wanted this video and the majority said yes. So thank you for participating in that poll, and let's get on to the video. Although there's a good chance that the first instance of hashtag apologize to Eugenia Cooney was prior to the video, it garnered a lot of attention from a video by WillyMacShow entitled T-Channels Won't Stop Deplatforming Eugenia Cooney T-Channel Audit. And the description reads, which by the way, Willy, I'm not sure if you're watching this, but there's a typo here. It says, T-channels are already known to have victims, Gabby Hanna probably being the most well known. Lies, slander are routine in their videos. But what if they do it to someone who was already going through a hard time, going after their family and career? Their new victim is Eugenia Cooney. The video will be linked in the description below. Repzilla and I spoke a bit about it in the podcast, but the general premise of the video is, as the title suggests, that channels have gone from showing concern for Eugenia and her health to trying to deplatform her, saying that she essentially doesn't deserve a platform because of how she looks and that purely based on her appearance is making people relapse on their EDs and is in turn pro-Anna, even regarding just a blue butterfly in one case, and simply just by making content as a whole. The main people included in this video are Pastel, Belle, Sloane, and Repzilla, and also Jacqueline and Glenn. The video goes into great depth surrounding multiple situations and how the narratives were made, and in some cases even fabricated entirely, like the flashing incident for example. But as I said, the video will be linked in the description, and a warning goes with that. Despite it being a good video, it does mention sensitive topic matters, and it also mentions a lot more than what I did in this very brief recap of that video. Before I go onto the responses from the people involved that did respond, it's also important to note that there are some comments that are mentioning things that were seemingly omitted, and Willy responded to that and said, "My next video will clear up everything with Katie and Jacqueline, and some of the past Discord drama with Eugenia. People think I haven't done my research. I'm aware of everything. It just couldn't fit in one video. I'll never disappoint Teabag Nation." And I just wanted to mention that and the comments so that people knew that I wasn't just seeing the video and being like, that's fact, you know. I think that Willy did do a good job of presenting both sides, both what Eugenia said and what other people said. Especially in the 5150 thing. I personally don't know what 5150 is, although I found out via that video and via the whole Eugenia controversy. We call it something different here, so I was a bit caught off guard by that, but it was nice to have that explained, although there are comments saying that there's stuff about Katie Morton, which is what Willy's tweet refers to when it says clearing up everything with Katie and Jacqueline, by the way. I want to preface this section by saying that no one was pressured to respond to WillyMac's video, which is probably why Sloane hasn't said anything, which is fine. He seems to be spending his recent time on Twitter talking about hashtag Free Britney, which is all well and good. Good on him. Jacqueline Glenn also hasn't said anything. Also, to add what I said to the start of this section, please don't try and get an explanation from these people. They'll address it if they want to. In purely a coincidence, Belle actually announced a change in her content a few hours prior to WillyMac's video, saying she's going into politics according to the tweet. But that didn't stop her from responding to the video on Twitter afterward. The first tweet about it reads, "Have you heard the news? Apparently Eugenia Cooney was an innocent angel this whole time who never harmed a single soul with her endless pro-ana body checking and ED exploitation in front of her young fans, and the real people trying to hold her accountable were the real bad guys. None of my Eugenia Cooney ED content has ever been monetized, and I will never apologize for advocating for the removal/age restriction of her dangerous, exploitive content and standing up for the impressionable children and adults that she's hurt/triggered into their own eating disorders just to make a buck." Tipster tweeted and quote tweeted her tweet and said, "I'm sorry, but I have to disagree with you. You claimed her content promotes ED lifestyles to kids. It doesn't. Nowhere in her content does she encourage people to live eating disorder lifestyles. Unlike Nikocado Avocado, where his ED is his content, we can't punish people for being sick," which was the general consensus of WillyMac's video, by the way. Can't punish people for being sick, can't kick someone off the platform for eating too much or too little and just being. Belle responded and said, "I respect you and you have every right to disagree. As someone who has suffered through a severe ED for years, I will do everything I can to make sure others, especially kids, don't feel what it's like to be triggered into one." Tipster once again quote tweeted and said, "If Eugenia's content triggers you, why not just not watch it? Seems like a much better solution than punishing someone for battling with an illness. How would you feel if you were punished by others when you struggle with your ED? It wouldn't be a very good feeling, I assume." He then tweeted and said, "I don't want to make this a let's shit on Belle argument, so if you want we can continue this conversation in DMs, feel free to reach out." She said, "That sounds great, I'll DM you a bit later today." Someone also said, "You spread awareness and told people what she's doing is dangerous. That's not attacking her. Eugenia Cooney is a dangerous person for young teens. Saying that isn't attacking, it's telling the truth." Which Belle replied and said, "But attacking her sounds so much more dramatic and gets clicks/views. So," and in the last tweet I'm going to share, someone called Aubrey for life _ said, "Let me ask, what has she said that makes her pro-ana?" Pro-ana is pro-anorexia, by the way, "other than existing?" Belle responded and said, "When someone is encouraging a behavior, the cues don't have to be verbal." Encouraging a behavior. Body checking is an example of non-verbal confirmation, which is something she does in almost every video. Also, there's confirmations are not only the problem. And she posts a comment that says, "I've lost 7 kilograms in the past month because of Eugenia triggering my ED, and I'm 36, so it affects all ages. I don't watch her videos but YouTube recommendations. I don't understand why she's triggered me, but something needs to be done. I'm sick of being sick and seeing her in my mind and thinking I need to be thinner." Repzilla, despite having potentially the least screen time in the entire video, went onto Twitter about it. He was included in the thumbnail of the video though, just for heads up, so like he has more than a right to say something. So here's what he had to say. His first tweet about it was in response to Belle, and he said, "There's been so much terrible behaviour. The comments about survivors, the allowing child predators in her now deleted Discord server, the list could go on, but they don't talk about that. We do." And his next tweet about it was in response to someone who has either deleted their comment or their account or privated it. He said, "She deleted her Discord because she was called out. She had a convicted as a moderator and another who was allegedly arrested for another who promoted pro-ana predatorial behaviour. There was a young girl involved. It was a terrible situation." He then responded to Belle, said, "Don't let them get to you. You've done good work." Pumpkin Angel said, "I'd love to see a more in-depth and accurate depiction of the ED butterfly. Your original mention of it barely scratched the surface. It's way worse than you got into, and I think people deserve to know about it connected to Eugenia Cooney." To which Repzilla said, "The purpose of my video was to show that the coincidence in Eugenia's audience were clearly not coincidences. I don't know for sure if I'll go into it, but I'll keep you posted here." Tipster quote tweeted someone called CJ who said, they posted a link and said, go to 240, Eugenia told there's someone in her community threatening violence to minors who ignores it, instead says how nice the guy is. Tipster said, I've gotten similar messages or comments before. They are almost always trolls or jokes, so it doesn't surprise me at all that she would ignore it. To which someone called Chris A. Bennett said, considering what she said about the Jeffrey victims and then how she reacted when I personally confronted her, which was followed by a non-apology, I do believe Adzilla H covered some of it, and I know @TruthSleuthYT was horrified, as I was, by Eugenia, to which Repzilla responded and said, this was more than just a troll in the comments. This was a whole deal involving a which she was made aware of and she eventually removed from being a moderator. Someone responded to his previous comment about it being more than trolls in the comments, and they said, what exactly does that mean? Did she leave them as a mod knowing they were a predator and only unmod them when the pressure was too much, or did she wait for evidence this mod was a predator and then unmodded them? I'm genuinely curious because one is far worse than the other. She responded and said she was told by multiple people for months, then eventually removed him after his arrest record started going around, but only after she returned from Disney World. There were also several other predators, even minors, who were taken advantage of. She ended up deleting her server. Tipster said, and quote tweeted Rep and said, Gee Rep, thanks for framing my statement into an argument I wasn't making at all. What a swell guy. Also, she eventually solved the problem, so why is it still an issue? Make it make sense. Which Rep responded and said, I didn't bring it up, I just saw that you assumed it was trolling, so I figured you didn't know. I was only letting you know what I knew, sorry about that. Also, I didn't bring it up. I thanked her for removing her server, which is a bizarre comment, thanking someone else for removing a Discord server that you have nothing to do with? Someone called Internet Unwind said, okay, wait, but I thought the outrage was about her physical condition. Even if the people that were a problem were such a problem and known to her, why is the outrage about her physical condition bringing up this unrelated topic so heavily? Her respondent said, I believe they are separate. Her condition is complex, obviously, and very sad. The other situations were not involving that. My opinion is that if there was a connection, it would likely be if her condition affected her ability to properly manage her platform. The respondent said, maybe I'm missing the point. The conversation switched. I don't know. I was only aware of the accusations of her being pro-eating disorder being discussed, and I suddenly started seeing all of this. Like I said, maybe I'm missing something. Just looked like an, okay, but you still did this kind of thing, you know? The respondent said, it seems if you are unaware of the issues that I personally paid attention to and are mixing them up with others. At the same time, I commented on her being a prominent figure in the pro-ana communities. I could not confirm her participation, but did acknowledge strange coincidences. Fair enough. They responded and said, yeah, you aren't the only one I saw talking about the Discord stuff. I was asking a more general question. I can see how my original reply looked like it was directly about you though. My timeline today was filled all about the Discord stuff. I'm just finally sitting down and have time. He responded and said the Discord stuff was resolved, at least for me, when she removed the server in question. I think it was a good thing she did by doing that. And Tipster also shared some DMs between him and Repzilla. Now, the thing that's really confusing is that the criticisms in the video were not surrounding the Discord stuff. As Willy says, that his next video will clear up everything between Katie and Jacqueline. Okay, it was maybe a bit blurred in his video or not fully explained like it should have or like he intended to do, because as he says, couldn't fit in one video. Fair enough. And he also says at some of the past Discord drama with Eugenia. Now, Willy's video was about them trying to deplatform her for existing and being pro-ana, as they say, pro-anorexia and stuff like that. But the argument that Repzilla was bringing, it wasn't about what he was being criticized for. It was about something else completely different, which was also resolved, and he thanked her for doing something about it, but apparently it's still an issue. As the saying goes, which I get it confused every time, if the patterns of the past are the patterns of the present, then nothing has changed. Something like that, anyway. And Eugenia's dealt with that. It also seems as if she was away. Edwin also tweeted about it. Tweeted that she said that she wasn't aware, and as soon as she was made aware, she did something about it. It's all very messy, by the way. I'm not saying I know everything. I'm probably missing few things, let me know in the comment section below. Well, I'm happy to have a conversation about it. Hopefully this wasn't too heavy of a video though. But don't forget, just don't send anyone in this video like hate or anything. Hopefully WillyMac's second video ties up some loose ends though. But I just thought this was kind of worth talking about. Mainly because the response was kind of baffling, you know. I understand Belle's to some extent, as people have said on Twitter, changing the goalposts, you know. This is what it was about. But no, let's just criticize him for something else, you know. As I said, don't send anyone hate or anything. Send Eugenia support. Messy situation. But yeah, thanks for watching though. If you did enjoy the video, I might see you next time for more. Peace.